introductory stuff on there. Say about you. So yeah, so I think it was. Let me see, in 1999, because that's how I started writing from my sister passing away. We talked about that earlier, Atlanta, about like pain, dealing with pain and ways to, relieve your pain or whatever you're dealing with, anxiety or whatever, keep a journal and stuff like that. So mine happened to come through, grief, and that's when I started writing and it turned into poetry, So from there I wrote for years and years. It wasn't until about maybe 10, almost 15 years later that I started memorizing my stuff and putting it on CD. And then I started into this poetry competition. Hold on, brother, man. So I started performing. And that's when you get into like the performance arts,
Right.
Of it. And when I did that, I got my first feature. I talk about it a lot with Articulate Poetry. If you don't know her, she's hosts her open mic. She's been doing it for roughly about 13 years now. And that was one of my first features, that I had doing poetry. And I already been working on an album, and I had my album there the day of my feature. And man, after the event, I featured, and I had a long line. The line was about 8, 9 people in line. And I can recall the night I had my brother there with me. He had the CDs, and I was signing off. That time I had an EP, so it was $5. That $5 felt real. That felt great.
I know it did.
Because I was signing something. I had a product. I just performed on stage. I had a product, a CD. I got fans, people in line. The next week I left the barbershop because it was like I'm an artist now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm an artist. Like, I literally just left. I didn't give no week notice. I ain't say this or that. I just left, period. Just jumped out there. It's like, I'm driving. I can go to my people and just cut their hair. Like, I'm finna devote my time to spoken word and then doing this or whatever. And so I started doing a lot of different open mics and stuff like that. I did a book as well, too. It's Chris was talking about earlier. And I said, this is what I want to do. I want to become a spoken word artist. This is what I want to do. And that's what got me my kickstart. It kind of got me started, off in the spoken word. And I always remained a barber. I think I went back to the barbershop and I did like part-time. I would do like the weekends and stuff like that. But most of my time would be devoted into spoken word, and poetry and stuff. And people that know me, like we talked about earlier, I didn't have a car, I would jump on the train. It didn't matter to me. I just wanted to be somewhere on the stage, performing, sharing my art, networking with people, and hopefully somebody book me for another show or something like that. So, for me, I don't take it as a hobby, and I never did. I never took it as a hobby. I probably went from therapy to booking. It was never at a hobby point. Because first, when I used to write all the time, it was just therapy. It's like, man, I'm getting these words out. I'm feeling good about myself. I just created something new, something different. Then that night when I started performing, that's when I felt like, the artistry, side of things. So that's a little bit, about me. I would say since that night or that day, since I started performing and stuff like that, I've gone on to feature and do a lot of shows, a lot of different events, even traveling out of states. I've traveled with Mannerism, who's a spoken artist as well too, who's here, and other spoken word artists as well too, where we traveled and did create our own shows. So sometimes instead of even waiting for somebody to book you, you could actually book your own self, and create your own event, and feature your own self, so you don't have to wait on anybody. You just start doing it. People seeing that, I see you featuring over here, you do. Then somebody reach out to you, and feature. You travel, you do, they don't know if you're getting paid enough. They don't know the setup. They see you traveling, they see you doing the work. You're putting yourself out there, So, then you could be like,
they don't know who booked
say, hey, well, I charge this for this. You know, so well, Florida, okay, you know, you give them a budget, you work out a budget. You know, but that's more so into the spoken word, you know, aspect of things. And you know, and I'll say for the last 10 years, I've learned a lot. You know, I was talking with Atlanta earlier. We had a whole discussion going on earlier, you know, about different things. She was asking me questions. We were doing a Q&A, and a lot of things are trial periods where we learn and stuff like that. And that's kind of helped me to do the workshops because I've learned a lot. You know, I learned a lot with spoken word. I learned a lot with business, with dealing with people, with dealing with getting yourself booked. You know, being more professional, you know, as an artist, or even going to certain open mics, you know, because every open mic is different. You know, not everybody is passionate about the work. Not everybody. Sometimes they want to be heard versus themselves being heard. They just want an audience or a crowd there. So a lot of times, you may not get a chance to spit because they didn't spend time spitting all these pieces of putting their favorite artists up and stuff like that. And somebody just wants to come out and share a poem, they're not heard. How you doing? How you doing, sister? All right. You're welcome to those little note cards. Those are for you just want the introduction. That's what I'm doing right now. The introduction, you know, to everybody, learn who everybody is. And so I'm gonna get into it. That's enough about me. But I've done a lot of different things. I've been awarded a lot of different things. I've done a lot of features, a lot of different events. And I have my trials and my errors. I had to learn a lot. You know, I made a lot of mistakes. Still make mistakes. You know, but I want to get better. I want to continue to get better. You know, as a writer, not just a poet, but just as a writer. And one thing has taught me was schooling. When I went to school, you know, I wasn't necessarily going to get a degree. Of course, that comes at the end. But I wanted to learn more. I wanted to add to what I already had. You know, I went to Kennedy King. I'm really going for marketing because we put out these books and these CDs, and we'd do a book signing. Then after that, they sit. You know, so I wanted to find out more better how to market myself. You know, as a poet and as an artist. So when I put my book out, I put my event out. You know, how can I get more people to purchase my book or to come out to my event? So as a marketing and promoting side of it, and I want to get educated on that by going to school. So they said they ain't have marketing. I would have to go to Kennedy. No, I'll have to go to, I think it was Malcolm X or something like that, Harold Washington, where they have marketing. But like, why don't you just take, you know, business? So that's how I ended up taking up business or whatever. But it was all to help with myself as an artist, you know, as a performer and stuff like that. So that's where I'm at right now with it. I really want to, you know, of course, stay busy, you know, getting bookings, and also continue, you know, doing things like this, like workshops and conferences and different things of that sort. So on your card, you just write your name, and I'm gonna go around the room, and this is called discovery. So the first question, y'all can write the question down so you don't forget them, is who you are. That's going to be the first question, is who you are. You know, so who you are, that's dealing with, I guess, what you do, where you work, you know, what your passions are, whatever you pretty much want to share, you know, amongst us, is who you are. And that's just writing it down. You're just not writing a specific poem or nothing, but just writing that down, who you are. The question, and I'm going to go around and ask everybody. So who you are, what interests you in writing or poetry, you know, or spoken word, if that's what you do, either one. That's the second question. And the last one, it's kind of what I kind of just talked about. Do you see your craft as a hobby, just for therapy, a possible career, or another stream of income? So the third question is, do you see your craft as a hobby, just therapy, possible career, or another stream of income? Or it could be all three combined. So those are the three questions for the discovery. For me, this is for me to, so I know where you are, you know, because I never want to like push somebody, you know what I'm saying, if that's not you know what I'm saying? That's not where they're looking at the you know, so that lets me know where you are or whatever. And for me, I'm pretty much with, so for, I don't know, I'm kind of with everything. I know at one specific point, you know, during my writing career, um, with all of them. So that's who you are, what interests you in writing, um, do you, and how do you see your craft as a hobby, just therapy, a possible career, or stream of income? So I'm gonna start out with Elaine. You can start out first.
Wow.
Yeah, folks, you can start out.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Elena, and I'm here to learn. I met Mr. Michael, or just Mike the poet, years ago, and the poetry, the spoken word caught my attention. I met other great artists such as Mannerism, Movement the Room, Tyrone. It's a creative ability, but it's spiritual to me. It touched me in my soul and my spirit, and it was positive and uplifting. Who I am, an old lady just sitting in listening to you. No, I'm just a regular artist. I enjoy life, I enjoy love, I enjoy God. I'm a woman of God. I love to help people, I love to serve people. The greatest thing we can do on earth is to listen and to give love. That's it. Craft as a hobby. I don't do the writing. I love music more, but I'm getting into the spoken word just by listening. I'm going to jot some things down. He ministered to me earlier before everyone got here about writing my pain on paper. I'm going through particular events in my life right now, and I've had quite a few events in my life that writing on paper probably would free, you know, even the more. Therapeutic, yes, most definitely. Even just by listening to how he is telling me we can do certain things, that's therapeutic for me right there. Career or stream of income, never. And my interest in writing is because I want to die empty. If there's any gift in me that God has allowed me to receive, I want to die empty. You know. Next.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Jayinga Washington. I've known this gentleman for a very long time. I was at another event, but I ran out here because I remember when you were doing the different shows. I know some other poets that we know mutually, and that's how I met you. So I've seen him grow so much, and just watch his progress. So I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
He went back to school. Everything he said he wanted to do,
He's
done
doing it. Yes.
He's done it. So
Amen.
he's actually, an inspiration to me.
Awesome.
So just let you know, like, he kept grinding, he kept hustling, he kept doing it, and now he's just getting the recognition that he's
Amen.
always deserved. He's a very
Yes.
humble person. So, but that's enough about why I'm here, what drove me here, what made me
Great.
come here today.
Thank God
But,
you're
thank you, I'm honored to be here. So who I am, well, I'm also an author, I'm also a writer. I published a book
What is that?
as well. And, it's called The Art of Losing to Win, Becoming a New Creature in Christ. So I've had poems, I'm also a poet, spoken word artist as well, as how I met him. And,
What is it? What is that?
I'm sorry.
no problem.
Because it's probably gonna keep on ringing.
It might be an alarm.
No, take it in there. This is probably Maurice. Yeah. So probably trying to find out where it's at.
I was texting you, so trying to.
You would?
Yeah.
Because I left her with my phone. So, yeah. You a lot of times in class, I just she might have. You go. Keep on.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, so as I was saying, in addition to supporting him, I'm also a spoken word poet myself. I'm a published author. I have a book already. I'm an educator, my day job. And I'm a teacher of 5th and 6th graders at a charter. So lover of seeing people grow and learn in general. That's who I am. Adults in between, young, old, anything that can help people, go to the next level. If you're doing it, that's where I want to be at. So, I'm a singer as well, model, acted. I've done, I wear many hats. I also have a non-for-profit called Women's Breakthrough Alliance. So we work with women and young girls, just teaching them the power of telling their stories. This helps them to overcome adversities. We focus primarily on mental health. So when you get your story out, it improves your mental health. It removes shame. It removes, all that stuff. So we work with them with that. So that's who I am. I am also a person who is ever evolving. So I'm always seeking out ways to learn something new. Even though I've written things, I'm an author, I can learn something new that can make me a better writer.
Right.
So that's who I am. I'm a seeker of knowledge and just growth. What interests me in writing? Writing saved my life, honestly. As a young lady, I didn't really feel like, I had a voice. So writing was, the other question talked about as being therapy. Yes, it was for me. It still is for me. It just helped me to tap into my feelings. Because when I was younger, I really didn't know how to express myself verbally. And I was very shy and timid. So writing just kind of moved away all the inhibitions. It moved away, you can be anything you want to be on paper. So for me, it just gives me freedom to be whatever it is I want to be. And do I see it as a hobby? It started off as a hobby in therapy, but I am here to also learn how can I make it a career, because it is something that I love to do. So I want to learn how to become more marketable as an artist and just grow as an artist. But market, like you said, I have a book, and it's been kind of I'm selling it and everything, but I wanted to go to the next level. How do I reach more people?
Okay.
So that's why I'm here too.
Great. Awesome. I see you a lot with the politics as well too.
I also ran for alderman at one point, in 29th ward.
What is
Yes.
what is that? Where is that at?
That's in the Austin community.
Okay.
So that's around,
Austin.
yes, west side of
West side.
Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I work with that. That's why I wear many hats. Thank you for reminding me.
Yes, I'm
So, yes, so I am. I'm very active in politics as well. Just getting knowledge to people that politics is more than what you think it is. And it's so important for us to be actively involved and aware. Because they make decisions that impact our lives every single day.
Yes.
So I go and I learn, find out what's out here, take it to my community. So, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. So,
Thank you, yes.
write some of that down on the index card while we still going around.
Okay,
'Cause I want to, I still want to have that, for me, for myself.
okay,
As
definitely.
the class goes on.
Yes, I always had questions in politics, like the secret meetings I would want to attend to. And I heard it's free, it's supposed to be free to the public. I want
And
to
they
know,
are, yes.
and I want to know
Yes.
more about that's how people active in the community. But it's never advertised, anything's out there, like, okay, I might see if I go to the library, I might see City Hall meeting or something like that, but, it's very isolated places where they'll post it somewhere, but you'll never know.
Yeah, and I'll talk more later, when we're done,
Down the side.
to kind of let you know.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's open, you just kind of have to, kind of like this, like we showed up today. Networking with people, somebody in that room might know something that you might need to know. And so, when I go to those places, I find out what's out there, and then I make myself available. So the more you come out, like the poetry community, it's a whole community of poets and writers. So the more you come out to the shows, the more. So showing up at community events, networking, working that room, talking to
Yes.
people. Then you let people know who you are. Hey, I'm so-and-so, this is what I do.
Right.
That's interesting what you said, or that little comment that you made. I like that. You have any other things going on, then you get their information. So that's how it goes. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to make this whole thing. That's why I said, I'm gonna get you later. I was like, well, he's under the radar. Okay, because this is his thing, so I'm just here to learn. We can talk later, because I don't want to take away from, this is his thing, his jewel. We
You
can
go
talk.
next too. Yeah, you go next.
There you go.
No, you don't want the ladies first. Ladies first.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Aisha Green, and I reached out to Mike on Facebook and heard his poetry, and I was like, okay, dude, dope, And then I'm sorry, okay. And then a lot of other people started friending me, and I'm hearing them. I'm like, man, because see, I've been out of the circle of poets and writers and stuff like that because in between that, well, I'll start off like this: who I am. I'm a mother.
All right.
I'm a caregiver.
Okay.
And when I say caregiver, it's whomever need help. I'm a caregiver. And I enjoy helping people. But sometimes I do get exhausted, and I ain't going to lie. I get exhausted. I'm like, man, where my help? But through the grace of God, He strengthens me each and every day. And I can't help but give thanks in His promise. Because He gives me the strength. Because believe me, if it was up to me, I would have been dead all day. But that's who I am. I'm a student. I went back to school after having 5 kids.
Wow.
Baby. I have 2 adult children and I have 3 younger children. Because when I tell people, I say, yeah, I have 2 adult children, then I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 6-year-old. They're like, girl. But it was a big gap, but that's what happened. I started school and then I stopped. And because I was like, can't nobody raise them like I can raise them. So I stopped and I raised my kids until all of them was in school, and then I decided to go back. But I've been writing since I was 13. And like I said, I started and then I stopped because life kept going.
Right.
And motherhood kicked in, and I'm like, man, but in between that, I still wrote.
Okay.
I never looked at it as me trying to publish something until people was coming over, like some of my friends, and I would just finish writing something, and then I leave it on the table, and then I come back, and I'm like, girl, you read my stuff? And then they'd be like, girl, you need to publish this, but then my dad kept telling me too, and me personally, my craft, it started out as a hobby, but innerly, inside of me, it's saying, Aisha, write your story so you can help other women and men, because some of the things I went through, I talk to men too, and they say, man, I went through the same thing. I'm like, what? And I'm thinking, oh, I'm a woman. I went through this, and they like, no, I went through that too. So I want to help other people and let them know that you can get through it. Because see, I done ran into a lot of people that's suicidal too.
Yes.
And I'm coming from something like that, and I had to tell other people, like, you don't know what they were thinking.
Right.
You don't know how they were thinking. You don't know what was going on in their mind. You don't know what the enemy was putting in their mind for them to do those things.
Right.
So you can't say they stupid, they being stupid, because you don't know. I said, if you never walk that path, you cannot talk about that. So that's my thing. Like I said, it started off as a hobby as far as me writing and the pain, to release pain, because I had a lot of pain. It was men pain. It wasn't, it was men. I'm believing. So that's why. But then, it was men pain. So that's it. But I came to the realization that it was my fault because I allowed it. I allowed all of it. It's not like I could have easily said, okay, I stopped, I'm walking away, but I didn't. I said, nah, we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep fighting with you. But it wasn't work. I mean, I'm not going to say it wasn't, but it shaped me into who I am, and now I hold myself accountable. and not anyone else. And anytime something happens to me, I'm like, man, I could quickly forgive somebody. Like, man, I allowed, I kept running up on them, or you know, whether it was a friend or whoever. But that's my story so far. So.
Okay. I love that. I appreciate that. You could sum that up on the end there. It's fun. Hey, when I'm doing a workshop, you know, it's gonna be some writing work, because obviously I would like to get, you know what I'm saying, better, and writing helps.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? Like me, I've written stuff down on index cards, you know, plenty of times, goals, different stuff. Like writing is just so therapeutic, just to help you with your memorizations, just to have it. You believe in yourself more.
Right.
Like they always say, like to write things down. You know, this is from like the Bible scriptures, speak those things as not as though they were. You know what I'm saying? Just speaking things right into existence. You know, until it comes to pass. I still have some stuff I've written over 20 years ago I haven't even done. I do a lot of things, but some stuff I haven't done, and maybe just one time. You know, maybe I'll still do it one day, and I'll still write it down now. You know, yeah. Which was next? You go next too, man.
No, I was saying like, you saying pain and men, I wanna hear that, like on the poetry, I wanna hear that like brought out. And there's millions of people that wanna hear that too, like they're interested in hearing that story.
And I have a few, but I don't think I brought it with me, but I have a few, and I was like, man, and I was like, you know, because.
You have anything memorized? That's all right.
No, I
He
don't.
can write it down, like
Okay.
people that's interested to see what that story is, and he can really impact a lot of people.
Okay.
You go next,
So my name's Emmanuel. I go by Mannerism. I'm well known in the poetry community as Mannerism. Well, first, I like to be considered as a servant, serving God, serving people. I realized that, you know, early on, starting off into this, I wasn't really, I didn't know I'd be a spoken word artist, really. Because our transition was, I was a local, I was really heavy in hip hop arena. All that it just diminished it, all that hip hop stuff just diminished, it all just went away. And I was happy because I was really happy and joyful because there's a lot of stuff happening in my life, like God delivered me from. So, I was happy being, you know, studying and being on the leadership and stuff. I wasn't thinking about really artistry too much. And I was really heavy into my graphic design and business, trying to get my business off far as doing graphic design. I did a lot of video stuff. I was really heavy into like editing videos, people and shooting videos, like music videos for people. And I did one video for a local artist in Phoenix, Illinois, like by Harvey. It was a rap group, and they don't have a copy. I'm so mad because they don't have a copy. I didn't get anything. You know, usually I have it on this, whatever, all that stuff. Just I can't find it. But this is before. It's a long time. It's before you can upload the stuff to your email and be there forever. You know what I'm saying? But before it's like, okay, you gotta have a hard copies. You lose those. You put on the internet, which you do. I wasn't into that yet. That wasn't so popular. Upload stuff on the internet and be there forever. So I kind of lost a lot of that. But like I did like a documentary. I was big on like making documentaries for people and shooting and editing, you know. But then I was like passing my business card around in Dalton, and it was a pizza place called Giovanni's. And I was just there like any other place, dropping business cards off, and I saw they had poetry night at Giovanni's in Dalton. You probably know about it, you know, whoever didn't know about Dalton. And it was like all the great poets I would see there, and I was just like, when I'm passing my cards, I'm not really sitting down. I'm just kind of just there for business, you know, talk to the owner, whatever. And I'm seeing all these artists and people hosting them, seeing June hosting this awesome artists, you know, people who've been to Russell Simmons' Deaf Poetry Jam stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's like, I would like almost imagine myself doing it. You know, it's almost a thing in my imagination, like, yeah, you know, it's it looks like, you know, saying something I probably want to do, but nah, I just imagine it. Until one day, you know, I'm just doing the same thing, going to church and, you know, being service student in church, whatever. Then all of a sudden, I just started getting like these downloads, you know, out of nowhere. God is, you know, I think God would just say it's time to just, and it wasn't even rap, it was just poetry, it was just like songs, you know, and it had no music or nothing. I started writing stuff down, and it came to actual full length, you know, pieces. And I didn't know nothing about poetry right now. I just had actual pieces I would write down. Then I started saying it, reciting it, then I started presenting it from the church, memorizing it. Not even knowing what spoken word artist is, but still presenting it from the church, memorizing the stuff. And then God just told me one day, okay, now it's time to take these poems outside of church. And then once I did that, then that's why I started, you know, developing myself as a spoken word artist. And but as far as career, I definitely see it as two things. I really don't think career should be one thing. You know, I think it is a stream of income. It always has to be therapy for me, as far as hitting the road, because when my mom passed in 2017, I already had a booking from New Jersey. It was me and another person, Mike. We went to New Jersey. It was a road trip. And that road trip just happened to be right on time because it was the same week of my mom's funeral. When I was in Jersey, it was therapy. It was like something I needed. So that's why it was a routine thing to always go out of town and do road trips for spoken word. And it's always been therapy. It's definitely, I want to be a stream of income in a career along with other things. You know, I'm positioning myself to do, I know Amari Hardaway, he started as a spoken word artist. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that really inspired me because that's the next thing. It's the next thing as far as audition. You know what I'm saying? Not letting this go and go to something else.
Right.
But as audition to have to go to. It's a stream. So I always have this along with other things. I should be starting classes. It's coming up too. Acting studio, Chicago's acting studio. Up north. I should be starting that real soon.
When?
I'm just realizing she said March, so it's coming up.
It's March.
Already March now.
We had this conversation, I think, and I'm like, I think we had this conversation in like December. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's coming right up. So I need to just, yeah,
That's
this
dope.
time of year. So,
Congratulations.
well,
to you.
Congrats,
yeah, I'm positioning
No, that's
myself
so
for
smart.
acting class.
Yeah.
No, yeah, acting class, so I can do, you know, another thing I desire to do is act. So.
That's dope.
Yep.
And before I go to the next discovery, man, I want to say adding to that, like, and you in the education, man, like, if you're an artist, a writer, like, it's so helpful to you. You know, when I got in school, I'm not no algebra, math type person of that, but as far as like literature, English, creative writing, screenplay writing, what was the other one? Creative writing, screenplay writing, literature, speech. All of those have helped me, you know, as a speaker, you know, how to stop my ums and stuff like that, and just freestyle speaking like that. Like literally for the first time, I think I did at his birthday party, I just started speaking. I've never done that before, you know, but the speech class allowed me to be able to do that. And that actually opens up another stream to be able to go somewhere and speak in front of people.
Yes, it sure
so,
does.
You know,
that's what I wanna do too. That's
Well, you
on my
doing it.
list.
Okay.
I wanna get paid.
I know that's right. See, I know that's
See?
right. Yes.
I'm all about
I
that.
And I wanna start seeing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I get some paid gigs, but
Right.
I want it to be like consistent.
Consistent, yeah.
Consistent.
And you gotta have the confidence of voters to say this is a stream because this stream is funding everything else I'm trying to do, which is not for me, it's for everybody else. So that's why you don't get selfish because when you know that you're not doing it for yourself, now you know now I really need it because it's not for me. And it becomes, now you can take the selfishness out of it because it's not for you. You know, it's servitude. It's other people that need this.
They need to hear.
Right.
They need this.
Yeah.
This
They-
costs
right.
money.
Yeah.
This
It
costs
does.
money.
It
Yeah.
does.
All this stuff you see, this costs money.
It
You
does.
know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, most definitely. So I would definitely say any type of education, you in the arts, something like that, take up a training for yourself. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? Like better yourself. And I was talking to Warrior Architect, and I was like, either way you go, whether you go to school or not, you're going to get educated. If you do something out there in the streets and go to jail, eventually you're going to get educated. You know what I'm saying? So when somebody else comes
Yeah.
up, they end up in jail. You become a teacher. Man, don't go that route. When you get back out, they may have 30 years. You may got 2. They can instruct you and teach you, but they had to learn. They were still taught. They still had to learn. Now they learning more. They behind the wall. They forced to learn now. You know, so life is just a teacher. Like anything, like you said, to learn and get better. Like I'm learning more. Just listening to you all. You know, so always continue to educate yourself. And I'm big on education now. After going to school, I'm big on that. Like education, like because it's so much that I didn't know before. You know, I'm gonna get into like a haiku a little bit later, but I never knew nothing about no haiku, poetry, or how to write it, anything. You know, I just wrote it free verse, whatever came to my head. You know, that's what I would write. You know, so education is a big part, man. Man, I'm looking forward to that school, man. I want to see that, man.
Yeah.
That's just right. Yeah.
You know what's
so-
crazy? You know what's crazy? I forgot. She's a Facebook friend of mine. She's in like do a lot of independent films.
Mhm.
And I asked her if I could be one of her films, whatever. And she said, "Have you been to after school?" I said, "No, but I want to." She said, "Go to after school." I said, "Okay."
Wow. Okay. See,
That was inspirational. She told me to do it. I'm gonna do it now.
I know that's right.
So I know what
Now
I'm gonna
that's
do.
what I'm talking about.
So,
I could have been like, "Oh,
Go
no,
for it.
I don't need that." Blah blah.
right.
She already in the thing. She telling me what to do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna follow who already in it. I'm just learning.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna be apt to learn
That's what's up.
and do what I need to do.
Most definitely. I'm and then with me, like I'm not, you know, I completed my associates. He was telling me to go back and I'm like, nah, I didn't go to school to get no whole bunch of bachelors and masters to keep growing up. Like I just, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go. You know, I didn't want to go. But you know, once you have an assignment, you have a purpose. God is showing you different things, and you begin to learn. You're like, okay, you know, I'm gonna let him work instead of me. Let me just
Right.
go ahead and be obedient. It's hard. It's taking away my time. You know what I'm saying? I'm missing out on certain money. I can't watch these movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't watch BMF. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent series, because I keep up with a lot of those, and those help me to. I get a lot of pieces from those too. But it's crazy because I've been out of school and I still haven't turned on to watch it because I'm so into the arts now. I'm so much into the poetry and the spoken
You
word.
ain't missing nothing on all these.
I ain't missing nothing.
There's so many movies now. It's almost like it's too many.
It's too many to keep up with.
Focus on me now. It's too many. It's too much going on. That's a good inspiration. Like so much good stuff. Forget it all.
I don't even look at TV at all.
Wow.
Not even the news.
It's a waste.
Did y'all miss? I'm like, no, what happened?
I watch. I
Yeah.
don't have regular TV anymore,
Wow.
but I watch Netflix.
Mm.
Sometimes I watch. I will binge watch
That's-
a series. Like if I
Okay.
missed it, I'll catch up on it. You know, I have those moments. So like, oh, I haven't seen a movie in a while. I'll sit home now and watch it.
Right.
But most of my time is like YouTube now.
Wow.
Look at things
That's
on
what I be
YouTube.
doing. Be watching YouTube and all.
Yeah, because there's so much cool stuff on YouTube and people are creating their own content.
Yeah.
It's so many creative things.
Yeah.
I'm usually looking at stuff like that on YouTube now. Yeah.
I'm gonna go to this gentleman next. Before I do, I'm gonna share this real quick. We talking about the TV. I'm gonna share this real quick testimony, real quick. So I watch. People know me. I watch a lot of sports and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
I kind of think it messed my marriage up. I watch too much sports. I wasn't getting my time wasn't used properly.
What?
It probably had a little bit to do with it. But anyway,
Confession.
I got to a point where. But anyway, I got to this point where, you know, I was watching watching TV, and you know, my dreams and stuff hit me. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a lot of stuff wrote down and this and that, and something just struck in my head. It said, turn the TV off. Start working on what you're doing. Everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't turn the TV back on until you own it.
I tell
Write
you,
that down.
for real.
Right.
Don't turn the TV back on until you own it.
The TV on.
Until it's a broadcast. So I did that. I've been on, well, they got Can TV.
Yes.
Articulite started, there was a what station was that? Channel 56 to you.
You mean
Ended up on
WCIU?
You see what I'm saying? They had inspirational television came out and ended up, and it hit me just like that.
Wow.
All of these dreams, everything's sitting in front of you. He's talking about performance art. A lot of performance arts and acting, they're on TV. But if you're steadily sitting on the couch, you watch them, it's good, but you know, I need to be on that. Let me see myself performing or acting or doing my dream, fulfilling my dream and my purpose.
Right.
So yeah, that really inspired me. Different things inspired me, but that was one of the things that inspired me during the time, you know, in my life when I started out doing poetry. So yeah, you go ahead. So we're doing a discovery right now, and I'm looking to know who you are. Now I learned a little bit about you earlier, but I want everybody to know who you are. What is your interest in writing? You can remember these things?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who you are, what are you interested in writing, and do you see your crafts as a hobby, just for therapy, a possible career, and another stream of income? So you can take your time on who you are first.
My name is Christopher Smith. My name is Christopher Smith. I'm an independent book and film publisher. I got 9 books in stores, schools, and libraries, and prisons throughout the United States and Mexico. This right here, Bars of Hope, is my 9th book that just hit stores. This right here, by me flooding prisons throughout the United States and Mexico. This right here is a bunch of poets that were sent to me from prisoners, including my own. I was able to put together by them not being able to have those that had their dream to become a published poet, they wasn't able to. So just making it come true is dope for me. So it's like now that I'm flooding the prisons, they're able to have the book signers in the jails and stuff. And how I get in contact with those people. Now prisons now are way different from what it was back in the day. It's like now they have iPads, they have tablets, they have more things to interact with the outside. So I mean, this right here is my book. I've been writing for 10 years. And when it comes down to poetry, like I was just explaining myself earlier, I was never into poetry. It was just a whole vibe, like, you know what I'm saying? How I even got into the prisons thing was, you know how, like, you might have a friend or a family member in prisons. So it's like, I sent them some books. This happened in Statesville Prison. I sent them some books. Something happened where I never knew, first of all, I never knew how big books were in prison. So I sent them some books.
Wow.
They ran it in there and took nothing but my book. So it's like my thing was, so you know what? Let me send him enough books to where he'll be straight just reading my books type thing. So it was like this passed to that person had that in jail. I flooded this and that, and it's not in every jail cell, but it's in a nice amount from throughout the United States and Mexico. So this right here, like this right here. First of all, I've only been writing poetry for like 6 weeks.
What? Wow, right spot, my brother. You're good.
This is my first poet. Like this is my very first poem event. Like I definitely would love to do more. If you guys could, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Introduce me, I would love to do more.
We do events too. We do. Man.
But this right here, so like one of my biggest inspirations when I was writing poetry, because when I first started, and by me reading a poem that was sent to me from the prisoners, it was like they were so in debt, so you know, so into it. It was like I didn't want to just write anything, and everybody kept saying like, yo, sometimes poetry is like rap without the beat, because you know I'm a music artist as well. But when it comes down to writing, even with my other take books and magazines and stuff way more serious than I do the music. But with this right here, just stepping into it, I just wanted to match their energy. So one of my biggest influences was listening to Tupac, and there's a song he got called Unconditional Love. And it's like, I heard it before when I was young, but I never quite understood it, like how I understand it now, bar for bar. So just listening to that on repeat, and it's like, it just helped me just let emotions and everything all out. Because another thing is that I do the podcasting, and it's called the Smith Express Show. It's on Pandora, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts and stuff. So, and I interview some of my celebrity friends, and one of the people that I interviewed was Ron Fest.
Dope.
Ron Fest is a dope dude, and he said something was like, it's crazy, like the power of putting words together and how it can have an emotional effect on someone. So it was like just going through what the prisoners was going through in there and them submitting. It's like I just wanted to match. I prayed on it, like I just wanted something fluently to match what the prisoners were saying. Not exactly what they were saying, but in my own world, what I went through and everything. And I think it definitely worked out dope. This book right here, it reached #3 on Apple not Apple, Amazon.
Dope.
New releases. Number 17 on because like I didn't know Amazon had so many charts. I know it was it was hold on. It was the new releases and African American poets that I was able to chart on. So it's like it definitely gave me the inspiration and know that I'm on the right track.
Yeah.
But even as far as like I'm an independent book publisher.
I need
I have-
your information.
Yeah, so I created him an email list, like, saying his
Yeah,
email.
no problem. And the thing is, March 9th, I'll be at the Harvey. I started my Harvey public classes to teach other people how to be independent book and film publishers.
Nice.
The next one is March 9th. If you guys could come, that'd be dope. It's at the Harvey Public Library. It's around like 4 p.m. I think, if I'm not mistaken. You can take down my number to keep you in contact. But 2 of my books deals with breast cancer, so I linked up my corporation with American Cancer Society. So twice a year I have my breast cancer walks and book signings at Soldier Field. And one of the second book that's about breast cancer, it also deals with police brutality. So I got into a little trouble, and like I said, this was even part even on how I even started writing books. It was never nothing planned, nothing I went to school with. I was in debt, student loans was going crazy. I wanted to change my image as far as how I dressed. So I had a sweater vest. I had a friend that saw the sweater vest in the back seat, and he began to crack jokes on me, just going in. And the first thing he said was, one of the first things he said, like, look, it looked like you finna go sign some books. So it's just,
Wow.
and it was like, no one knew I was in debt. I was to myself about it. I wasn't trying to make no pity party. As soon as he said, I just went home, studied on how to be an independent book publisher, and I've been debt free.
That's inspiration.
Definitely needs the information.
Yes.
No problem. Hold on, but the second breast cancer walk not only deals with the breast cancer, I was able to do with the whole police brutality thing. And one of the things, like, you know how when we sometimes we see things on the news and we brush it off. So I got into a little trouble, and somebody cracked a joke about Skittles and hoodies around the Trayvon, and everybody laughed, and I didn't think it was funny. I missed the whole thing, and they was like, "Yo, you didn't hear about the Trayvon Martin situation?" I'm like, "No, I ain't hear about that." So I was able to, go home, check up on it, and that's the first time something like that really caught my attention, my heart, everything. And just losing a child, like over Skittles, and the whole situation was crazy. So I knew soon when I first started writing, I knew I didn't want to be a writer just to be writing. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like Harry for that crowd, but that's not me. I know that I'm more like I would like to educate or put stuff in there that people can actually learn from.
Yeah.
So one of the things is that so I reached out to Trayvon Martin people, but they didn't get back to me in time. But I reached out to Eric Gardner's, and this right here is Eric Gardner's daughter, Emerald, with some of my books. So that police,
Wow.
yeah, that's Emerald. So like a certain that specific police, that book, my fault. It's called Alyssa Lost Beauty. That it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart and stuff. But so certain percentage of their book sale goes to their I Can't Breathe organization.
Okay, wow. That's nice.
That's inspiration.
Yes. Wow.
They look at it.
Third question, you ain't even gotta answer the third question.
What was the third question?
The third question was, do you see your craft as a hobby, just therapy, a possible career, or another stream of income?
I mean, and I would say all of the above. Like, when you see, you being in the music field, you have those artists out there where they be like, yo, I don't like your music, this is your music. So it's people that can't take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like,
Right.
you're ready to fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, music, I did music because it was there, the lane was open, but I was never emotionally attached to that. But when it comes to my books,
Yeah,
and somebody say, yo,
that's different.
man, and it's like, cause it's like, one of the things that keep me going besides the financial is how I'm able to get into people's minds, because it's like, and not in a bad thing, but it's like the influence that it had. I never knew how important books was, but like one of the things, even with the prisoners, that like, if you go to Connect Network, you can be able to get in contact with them, or JPEG, just random prisoners. But one of the
Connect Network?
But one of the prisoners, like when they was giving me constructive criticism about my books, it was like, yo, well, why did she have to go through this? And it's like, and in my mind, I'm like, wow. I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking like, yo, I only wrote this to get out of debt. You feel me? I got to wrote the book to put it, you know what I'm saying? But it's crazy how it can affect someone in a different, you know what I'm saying, in so many ways, more than one. But also, by me doing so many books, I started the Smith Report book report. It's like I pay people to do book reports on my books. It's a 4-page small book report, but throughout the states, it's like they'll send me their book report. No, they'll buy the book. I send them the book report, so they send me the book report, and I frame it as something to keep. You know what I'm saying, to myself.
That is interesting. I love that.
It's like,
So I have a bunch of already typed poems.
and that's all I'm saying.
I can just,
Now look, I'll write
Yeah.
everything on my book. I mean, on my phone.
we can set up whatever thing I want to have my first publishing book.
Oh,
Maybe you publish my first book. I never had a book yet, so maybe you publish my first book. My first poetry book.
That'll be dope.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. That's how it works. I got the title and everything to it. I got the cover, graphic design, the cover myself.
That's what's up. And you know what I'm saying? I'm great on it. You know what I'm saying? Cause, and you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm ego free. Like I'm not the one that has someone beat around the bush and who I've been on. When starting a book, you want to break it down to the basics. Even if you want to start your own publishing company, it's not just go to IRS.gov, apply for EIN and employment identification number, and then register with the state. It's free for IRS.gov. It's only $150 to start the LLC. It's $250 for a corporation. You feel me? And then from there, if you want to go get your ISBNs and your barcodes, you go to barcode.com, go to copyright.gov. Like I said, I write my books and my poems all on my book, all on my phone. So it's like I go to the site, upload everything right there, boom, boom, boom.
You do it for, okay,
From my phone.
you got my number now.
That's what I saw.
Because with the publishing, how much
Right, you want to pay for
Yes.
My
How much is
Facebook.
it?
Oh, the store's like every store is different. But for that right there, Amazon's like $6.99.
I'm gonna buy it on Amazon.
Come on, boys. I mean, cause it's like
Well, I'm gonna buy it on Amazon.
Good looking, but I mean, but like if you want to read through the poems and stuff, like this right here, and what's crazy is like people see this cover and like, yo, he was in jail. He
Are
was
you
in jail.
selling those now?
I didn't bring enough copies. That's the thing. So like, I mean, you guys can have it. But this right here, at my last breast cancer walk, they allowed me to do a photo shoot. So this is the original book covers.
Now, how much are those?
This is $6.99.
Because I'm much more than just me having my poems and my pieces. It's all the barcodes, it's the
Oh
covers,
yeah, you know what I'm
it's
saying?
the force and all that stuff. And you do all that, right?
Yeah, and but the thing is, mainly becoming an independent book publisher, you want to make sure you own you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you going to a company, like I was telling them earlier, business is closed every day. The only way you can lose it, you lose. You feel me? That's why it's always best to have things in your hand. You know what I'm saying? And it might seem rocky, it might seem slow, but you own you. You know what I'm
So
saying?
then you're able to keep the rights to your
Oh
books.
yeah, everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything.
Wow.
is-
Right, that's.
Oh.
Have you ever done a class
I started the class February 9th. The next one that I got going on is March 9th. That's 2
Okay.
days from now. If you guys can show up, that'd be dope.
I'm definitely,
What's the
I'm
night?
gonna check my schedule, I should be able to make, I don't think I have nothing on the ninth.
Then
What day is that? Is it like a Saturday?
It's like a Thursday.
It gotta be in the
almost, I
middle of
think.
the week.
Yeah, that's what the 11th. I got one on that.
Yeah,
So it's gotta be that
Wednesday or
Tuesday.
Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah.
I got it wrong right.
What's
It's this Thursday.
Harvey, what's the Harvey Library?
Harvey Public Library,
Yeah,
it's on
Harvey Public
Tillington.
Library.
It's on that Thursday, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Alright.
Man, I
That's
saw-
out south, right?
Yeah.
It's in a city called Harvey.
I'll
You
definitely
said
try
4
to make
o'clock,
that.
4:30?
Yeah, and in that area.
I'm in walking distance, so.
And it's like, and when you see the cover work of all my books, it's all my friends. Like, this is all me, front and back. This was in my living room, but just the editing, the graphics. And if you guys purchase the book and you see on the back, these are all the prisoners that submitted the poem. Wow.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I like that one. You
Uh,
want to know you?
I mean, these are the ones,
I will, yes.
thank you. So,
Look, I have a book too, so I'm gonna support.
yeah, what's your book?
We have your book with you?
Yes. I didn't bring my book with me.
That's what I was gonna ask you.
But it's called The Art of Losing to Win, Becoming the New Creature in Christ. So it is online.
What's
I actually just ordered some more, so I'm expecting to get some in some.
You gonna bring some next week if you come to the event? On that
If
Tuesday,
I have
Thursday?
it by then, yes, I would like to. I don't know if I can make that event though, because I get off work at 1, and I'm on the west side.
Oh, dang.
But I do want your info.
Oh, yeah,
So, because I have a poetry book too that I've been working on for a
That's
while, and I'm looking to get it published. And
Oh, yeah,
that's
and-
another book too.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the publishing, like I said, like, it's not harder than what people try to make it seem, or it's not as expensive as what one may make it seem. The most you'll probably pay for is your ISB and your barcode and stuff. And that's it.
It's gonna be your editing.
Oh yeah, and I mean, and edit, even with editing, when I first started, I made 1,000,001 mistakes thinking I was the most perfect editor in the world. And as I was passing the books out, people were noticing this error, that error, this error, this error. So like one of the things you can do for editing, like if you certain colleges has classes just like that. You can use it for talk to a student. I'm pretty sure they can get it for like extra credit if they edit your book. And you know what I'm saying? That could be a back scratching another one. And then, but you go I think it's Fiverr.com, Fiverr, and they have a little small thing where you can pay and they can edit for like a decent amount of money.
Don't you do editing?
Yeah, I do editing too.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how that's how I reached out to him on Facebook. I said, I'm be an editor because I'm writing a book. And then I keep, no, I need to put more in there. I need to put in, so that's why I asked him and then found out he did poetry.
That's
Yeah.
you know what it was that because like as soon as this book hit started, when I started seeing the tracks, I was in San Antonio and I premiered this book in San Antonio. But it was like I started like, you know what, let me start taking this serious, and I was like I put in poetry clubs and stuff, and your picture first person that popped up.
The first one?
First one,
Man,
and that's when I'm like, you know what, and that's when I reached out to you.
man, I thank God for that. That's all another testimony how that popped up.
No, you want to know what's even more crazy? You know what I'm saying? And I apologize for taking all the time. So
You cool? I'm freelancing.
You're good.
like for me growing up, you know what I'm saying? I am a high school dropout. I went to Thornwood, but my mama sent me the job. Like my mama said, like as soon as I dropped out, it was no specific reason. It wasn't getting bullied. It was never no, you know what I'm saying? So like my mom was shocked for me to even want to drop out. But as soon as I dropped out, my mom was alcohol. And because of alcohol, I had to get my GED, my trading business, and my driver's license. But even in around that age, you know, I never took Black History serious. So like, by me doing the books and stuff and doing the music thing, I created a buzz where I started getting booked in Canada. And whenever you go to the borderline in Canada to cross over, they ask you Black History questions. Like, I bet you didn't know about woo. And it's like me, I'm like, I bet, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Nonchalantly. And it's like, I started Googling, I started looking up the things that they were saying. Chairman Fred Hampton, and I never knew nothing about him. So one day, I was at a show with Project Pat, and sure enough, like something happened where he it was like he opened the door and Chairman Fred Hampton,
Mafia?
yeah,
Okay.
as like Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. opened the door, and it was like boom, and as soon as like we clashed right then and there, so it's like we got a video or whatever, like just giving each other props and stuff. But what was crazy, cause you know, did you see the movie they did?
What's the name of it?
Judas of
Judas
Messiah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Man, he took me to the house, the this, the
What?
Wow.
Man, it was like, you know what? Let me stop playing around. And that right there alone was a big inspiration, you know? Like, just, cause you know what I'm saying? Like, me just doing everything, it's like it was no big homie, no guidance, anything. It was just, me, I pretty much walked in the dark room and just figured out what a light said myself.
Wow.
You an inspiration, man. Like,
Right.
you know that I can team up on some stuff. I'm gonna do an interview with you too. Man. That is dope.
But is it alright? One more thing. I have a couple of poems that I would like to perform and share with you guys. Is that alright?
Yeah, sure. Oh yeah.
Is it alright if I put it on Facebook Live?
Yeah. You wanna do it up here?
Oh yeah, that's fine. Or
Send you in prices information for the publishing.
Yeah, before you leave.
Yes. You do contracts also, like,
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's a
Do it right here.
I'm sorry.
I know.
He's saying-
Oh, okay.
Thank you. You guys are the greatest. That's all right. I'm gonna share a couple poems with you. Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk.
Hold on before you go. You got my phone? Hold on, Chris.
You ready?
You got it.
Alright. This poem right here is called Check on That Friend. It's written by me. This is one of the last poems for the book, but I feel like it was so important, the concept, the storyline, and everything, that I think that it had to be the first poem to put in the book. So, check on that friend that always checks on a friend. Check on that friend that never treated you any less of a friend. Check on that friend that wishes the best for a friend. Check on that friend that never neglected a friend. Check on that friend that never flexed on a friend. Check on that friend that always believed, that never slept on a friend. Check on that friend that always standing next to a friend. Check on that friend that never ran on a friend. Check on that friend that'll ride to the death for a friend. Check on that friend that'll go through hell for a friend. Check on that friend that'll give his last if it means blessing a friend. So if you ask me my opinion, then that's one heck of a friend. And all I can say is, thanks for being that friend.
Oh.
Right.
Thank you. So, and the concept of this poem pretty much just talks about how everyone knows that one specific friend out of a group, the strong one that everybody go to, that no one really checks upon. You know, and it's pretty much saying to check up on that strong friend that everyone, you know, and you know, sometimes we are that strong friend.
Yes.
You almost made me cry.
Yeah.
I ain't lying.
Say,
I am that friend, and I know I am.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's very rare that someone calls you up without having their problem, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Or it's like, yo, I'm going through this, but no one never checks like, yo, you okay? How was your day?
None of that, yup.
This last poem, it's one from my auntie Fee. It's the Auntie Fizzle poem. My auntie, along with my cousin Carla, I was going through something, and it was like I was so focused. When I'm focused on trying to be successful, I'm not watching out for what's looking at me, what's trying to harm me. I'm focused on what it is that I need to be focused on. My auntie Fee saw something trying to attack me. Her and my cousin Carla and stepped in the way and as family just demolished it. So this poem right here is called Auntie Fizzle, the Auntie Fizzle poem. It said, going through what I was going through, only God knew how I needed you. It was something that he seen in you. I I was stuck in a place that only you could lead me through. So I say thanks proudly, with every ounce of me. When others doubted me, I cried inside knowing that you're proud of me. I got poems for days.
Do some more.
I have a daughter, she's 13. One of the things, but when I started writing the books, I would take her with me. I never really was into babysitters or whatever, so I took her with me. And she saw the book signings and everything. So one day, we was watching the film, I fell asleep on her, and she woke me up. I was like, look, Daddy, I wrote a book just like you. So,
Wow.
Wow.
so it was like, when she did that, of course, I got on my Joe Jackson. And then, you know,
Right, girl, right. Right, girl.
So I typed up her book along with my book, and it's in that book that I was telling you about called Alyssa Lost Beauty. Her book is in there, so she goes around with me. We do book signings together, and one of the things she did it when she was 6. So it was like I had her do her book signings at her school for teachers and principals, and it allowed her to they allowed her to do her book for the show and tell. So I mean, but now she's 13. She'll be 14. This will be her first year in high school coming up, and it's crazy how time flies. So, letter to Lauren, which is her first name. It says, it's never the cards you was dealt, but how you played it yourself. Never walk the roads if you ain't paid them yourself. Knowing others could have helped, but you made it yourself. Never follow trends, instead, you make them yourself. Because deep down within, you've been creative yourself. All that really matters is that you've accepted yourself. So welcome what you can't change and start embracing yourself. Just never doubt your skills. Instead, have faith in yourself. Because I bet if you wasn't you, you'd probably hate on yourself.
So,
Wow.
Thank you.
Yes.
And you know, my mom. This is the last. I mean, I'm sorry if I could do one more poem.
Yeah, one more. Yeah.
This poem is it's called Thank You. The name of it is Thank You, Mom. You know, my mom, she's in a rehab center. She suffered a second stroke. This one right here is called Thank You, Mom. Thank you, Mom, for being there all this time. Thank you, Mom, for shedding light at my darkest times. Because of you, I saw the signs and found things that were hard to find. Thank you, Mom, for wiping my eyes every time I start to cry. Thank you, Mom, for healing the scars that's on this heart of mine. Thank you, Mom, for looking over me at night to the morning time. Thank you, Mom. With faith, I know the world is mine.
So, Christopher, y'all. Man,
Thank you.
love that, bro.
Thank you.
Hey, how can the people follow you, man?
Instagram, Smith AOD, Facebook, is Christopher Smith. I got my artist page, Arthur Christopher C. Smith.
Okay, thank you, Christopher.
Alright, no problem. Thank you. Thanks, it's an honor to have you.
Yes.
It's an honor for you guys to have me.
Thank you.
Man, so I've been, man, that's,
That was good.
And what was crazy is that, like, like I said, seeing how deep the prisoners were and how that they was talking, it's like, it was times where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just pay someone to write my poem, but it just came to me, just started flowing. And it's like one thing when I write my book, I just let it flow, and it just one thing after the next.
Wow.
that's inspiring.
Yep.
And like I said, like I never was serious, but it's like now seeing how deep poetry is, and I would love to get into more events, more of your events. You guys have events, so
Yeah.
just let me know about the events, and I'm there.
Most definitely. Wow. I'm trying to see where to go now. But, man, you remind me of the rose that grew from concrete.
What's that? Tupac?
Yeah.
No, look, and you know what was crazy? Because it's like when I started, and it's like when I started even trying to format this book, it was like I was looking at how other people was writing their poetry and how, you know what I'm saying, just to get the vibe or get an idea. And I seen how they was doing it. I didn't know poetry could be that short.
Yeah.
I thought poetry was long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Me too. I used to think that.
Yeah, and it's like I started seeing there was some poets. Oh I just learned about
Yeah.
the team.
Wow.
I just learned about
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm with the thunder.
right, and that's the thing. Like seeing some of his poetry, it's like he had poetry that was like 4 lines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
wow. Like you know, I'm thinking it had to be 12 lines,
Mhm.
10 lines, 40 lines. It's like poetry is you. You know what I'm saying? You being you at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Wow.
Okay. Man, that's deep. I'm gonna get into the next thing. Let me see. Looking at the time. Okay. I'm gonna do this.
Are you gonna speak the telephone? You gonna speak a word, a spoken word?
I'm gonna see.
Yeah, you gonna close it down?
Because you got to close this one out, you know.
Speak
I'm gonna
some.
see. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna do what
Hold on. Let me like, and by this being new to me, like, what's the difference between spoken words and poetry, or is it all the same thing?
You wanna speak first, Madeline?
I
or-
learned that too. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, like the difference. Like, is it a big difference or?
Well, I'll speak on that from my perspective. So, like I explained earlier, I wrote for 10 years or whatever, and I never got into the performance part of it or memorizing. You know, I wrote. I was a poet. I was a writer. You know, when I begun to step on the stages, I stepped out of writing. It's still poetry, but it's something a little different now. You know, I had it memorized. I had a flow to it. You know what I'm saying? Like hip hop rhythm, I had a certain flow to my poetry. I'm kind of more theatrical. You know what I'm saying? Kind of acted out. It became like what they say, spoken word. So it's almost like you don't know if the person freestyling. And some people do freestyle their poetry. You know what I'm saying? I'm a writer where I memorize it, I work on it, I practice. That's something I was gonna get into within the workshop. I practice. You know, so people look at me like, okay, shows, and it takes time. I take time into poetry. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I be mad at myself because I didn't spend enough time trying to memorize or perfect. I'm behind on memorizing pieces, you know, because I write so much, you know, so I'm actually behind on that. But it's a little bit different, but everything goes hand in hand, all from being poetic, the poetry part, versus spoken word. You know, another thing is big with spoken word, I would say, is music. You know, creating music. When you put something on an album or a CD, it's like you becoming an artist, a spoken word artist. I didn't feel like I was a spoken word artist until I had a CD. That's what made me feel like a spoken word artist when I had that album. I'm an artist now. I'm like Jay-Z and all of them now. Like,
Yeah.
I got an album like they got. You know, I'm signing it. I felt like an artist. You know, so when the poetry, like you say, the book part, when I wrote a book, you know, I self-published my book, I felt like, man, I'm a poet. I'm really a poet now. Like, I have a book. I have something, you know, to give to the people. Like, you know, Maya Angelou and all of them, you know, so, you know, I think it's just a transformation from poetry, like what you just read is poetry, it's in a book, poetry, transforming it into memorization, or transforming it into a CD. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that kind of more the spoken word type of feel. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I kind of look at it. But it's still poetry. Everything starts with poetry. It starts with writing, getting those thoughts out first. Because I'm going to always be a poet because that's what I was first. You know what I'm saying? The spoken word ain't come to 10 years later. And that's something that I have to build my confidence up to do. You know, so that's my thoughts on it. Anybody, I don't know, you got your thoughts? What is it?
Yeah. Okay, so I've been to a lot of poetry events, like on the north side, and where there's a poets featured, you know, and they have their actual book. And then I thought about reading from the poetry book, you know, featured as poets, you know. A lot of people define poets a certain way because of their expertise in their, you know, their educational background. You know, being a poet, and some is not even deemed as poets because of their background, because, okay, you don't have a degree at, poetry and creative writing. So what do you really know about poets, you know what I'm saying? You go into, I was with him, we went to Iowa for poetry event, it was 2 poetry events, actually, it was a slam poet, and what part of Iowa was that?
Was it Davenport?
That,
Yeah.
was it,
It was Davenport.
okay, Davenport, Iowa, and it was like slam poetry. Slam poets are like spoken word. If you're a slam poet, you're on the stage and you're speaking in front of people. I think the actual performance part of it, transform it into spoken word. Just the written, reading, can be just poetry. But I think that's a performance, and speaking of it, it can be both, it's like infused. Like when I write, it's infused. It's like, I see myself on stage saying it, or in the book at the same time. And so when we left Davenport, we went to Iowa City, Iowa. Coming back, right, for another poetry event, and those are poets, we have professors there, and so. And I decided, I don't want to be in a box of what everyone says poetry's supposed to be.
Man.
So I said, I'm going to invent my own genre of poetry. And I call it Ramble Rope.
Wow.
So I call it a genre of poetry. I invented myself. It's a style. And I call it Ramble Rope. And I did the Ramble Rope, and I told you I invented this style. People look at me crazy. Professors, got degrees. It's like, well, the hell he know? Like, how you gonna invent something? I did. Like Kanye West said, I said I did it. So that's what I did, and I presented it. And it was different. So if I do anything, I'll do it be a Ramble Rope.
Let's go.
Ramble Rope poetry.
And like I said, like even when I started Googling like different events, I didn't know there was that many poetry clubs and events going on. I did not know.
As a matter of fact, starting out, that's what got me into our Google stuff.
Yeah.
I even Googled my name, just Michael Porter. I was in Atlanta, and I was on there with some other stuff, one poetry. That's all.
Something else came up.
Yeah, that created a whole nother poem. My date with destiny. So, but that's how I came up with my name, was from Google. I Googled Just Mike. I saw one in Cleveland, and there was another one in Poland. They spelled different. And that's how I came up with my name. And that's how I came up first, because I came up with it back then. I had it to stand out more than other Just Mike, the poets that were out there. A quotation did put D.A. Poet, and I just started branding myself, just doing stuff. And it would show up more. The Google search, it would show up more. So when you Google Just Mike the Poet, it come up musical artists. It's like creating my own Wikipedia, so to speak. I'm on bio.
That's what I was learning how to do.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey, one more thing. And then this is the last thing I want to
Okay.
like, so Smithville, of course it's my last name, you see it on the head and stuff. But Smithville is a city and town that I made up throughout my books where all the events happen in. It's
I
Smithville,
love that.
thank you. It's Smithville, USA. USA don't stand for United States of America. It's uplifting successful achievers. So,
Oh, wow.
like each book takes place in this town with all the, chaos and, happen. But I was able to trademark it, and, just do the business aspect of it. But these other jerseys and stuff, like, it's different. Like, each book has, like, different sports event, different things tied into it. And that's one thing that that really pushes me to do a book. It's like, just even as far as educating. The last book that I had out before this is called When Faith Has Conquered Fear. And it talks about how we put things in our body that give off a false positive test result. One of the things, like, I'm also, I'm an overnight stocker at Walmart. But Walmart sells this soap that all you're doing is just washing your baby up with it. If you Google the soap, I can't think of the name, but you test your baby, the baby will test positive for THC, for weed, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's
What's the
different
name
enough.
of it? Do you know?
Yeah, hold on, I'm finna, it's like, I don't even have that book on me right now.
puts him to sleep.
What do you-
Man,
No,
man,
it just like, it just gives the test, a false test, a false positive test result. You go testing for something, you went drug testing, you probably fail saying that.
Oh.
And it's a soap that they use for
No,
babies.
it's a soap, it's a soap. That, I didn't know about the,
That's
Crazy.
terrible.
I didn't know about the seeds, the poppy seeds that they put on the Big Macs and stuff.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
You eat that before testing,
Yes.
Yeah, like to me,
That
it's
is
like that's
crazy.
like why would you put that on there? You know,
And people don't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
And it's a lot. Some of the medicines. Give me 1 second. I can pull it up right now. And I didn't know about Johnson and Johnson. I didn't know about Johnson and
Baby
Johnson
powder.
lawsuit. Yeah.
Mm.
The
And the
powder.
baby powder.
Yeah, it causes cancer, and it's like, you know how many generations used Johnson and Johnson?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just because they saw the commercial, it's popular, it's within reach in the neighborhoods and stuff. But that's it, though.
No. Okay,
I
go.
had a crazy question just to ask. When he was talking about the difference between the poet and the spoken word artist, and is there, well, I know, I heard the differences, what mannerism said and what you said, but is there actually really a qualifying factor that would make someone a spoken word artist or a poet? If they have a book, does that really make them better than one who doesn't have a book that's still writing? Or are you certified when you have a book or you have titles or accolades behind what you're doing? What is the most significant? Being authentic or having the book? You know what I'm saying? I don't know what
I
you
think that everything goes hand in hand.
Okay.
You know, I wouldn't say one thing is better than the other or make somebody better than the other. Like, a lot of people, when I had a book, people looked at that as more than an album. You know, they looked at, man, that's a heck of a accomplishment. Like, they looked at that. I didn't. When you look at it, like,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
people look at books as something
I get that
different.
response a
You
lot
know,
too. When I tell people I'm an author,
Yeah.
when I tell them I'm a published author,
Right.
that's what they're like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the published
Yeah.
author,
Yes.
published poet makes it stand out.
Yeah,
To the-
it
Yeah.
makes you sound like more, you're official,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
like you're serious about your craft,
Okay.
or an expert in
Expert.
someone, you know what I mean?
Amen.
People they take it as though you're more credible
Yeah.
as an artist, you're not
Yeah.
someone like you said, a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
It lets people know you're serious about your writing.
Right.
It's your
Yeah,
craft.
because honestly, I feel kind of beaches, some of the beaches, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of get people? They go,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no one can duplicate you. You know what I'm
No.
saying? No one can do what you do.
That's true.
Mhm.
Now, that's true.
Thank you,
Yeah.
appreciate that.
It comes from your life and how you perceived it and what you went through and the battles that you had to face.
Yeah.
So that be awesome. That's
I
why I got
really
support.
I feel real great having published. Now moving to was it Kentucky or was it Nashville, Tennessee?
Uh-huh.
The lady we crashed the actual poet. Lady who had a poetry party for a book come out, and she inspired me because she said maybe your first book should be a what do you call it? A booklet? What does she call it?
Pamphlet?
Something like a pamphlet. Like a booklet, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to do for my first book. You know, that's actually how I thought my first book would look like.
Okay. And there you go.
Exactly like that. You know, and then repressing my actual album now, which I'm out of copies. I don't have like couples I can keep from my own like history. So I'm gonna pre-press my actual album too, so I can bring this over to the table when I'm actually performing. I can actually have a table
Yeah.
book series.
Because that's something I want to also do too, which is why I came here today too. Because I
Okay.
saw him doing his thing. We actually talked years ago about it.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah. It was at the
And
library.
he did, yeah. You remember that event with our other friend, what's his,
Portrait Soul Child.
Portrait that little, he did. So I was like, oh man, he did. So I'm like, I gotta run. I gotta go because, you know, you sit down on these dreams for years and years go by, you know, like, dang, I ain't did shit. So after I went through some stuff, I made it through, like I said, made it over that. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna stop dreaming and I'm gonna start doing some stuff. Because life
There you go.
You said
is,
stop
Yes.
doing and start doing. Okay.
start doing, because life is so something.
It is.
And you
Yes,
don't
it
have
is.
forever. You think you do, but you don't. And so I got sick to the point, y'all, where I couldn't even hardly eat food or swallow or drink water for almost a year. Developed breathing issues. This was during the pandemic. So I thought COVID was messed me up, but no, it's something else that
Yes.
happened. It started breaking down my body, y'all. So after I made it through that, I promised myself and God, I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna waste my life no more. I'm gonna go out here and start like doing things that I've been saying I want to do. So if any of you in this room have things that you thinking about you want to do it while you can.
Do
Because
it.
tomorrow's not promised to nobody.
That's right.
So do it. That's my thing.
Thank you.
Most definitely.
Thanks for sharing that. So I wrote some things down, but I know where I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna get into I'm gonna get into artist development. You know, but I did have down an impromptu. It was about art and what is art. I don't know how many of y'all done impromptu. Right? Impromptu writing, where you just kind of go off the top. The title. Yeah,
Freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
By myself, yeah.
Yes, I have.
Is that by yourself?
Yeah, heck yeah.
Okay.
Like in my own house, and I'm just talking, I'm going. I'm going. So,
Alright.
yeah.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so
It helps.
I may go back to that later. Let me see. Page that. Writing, poetry. Okay, that's true. That we just. Who asked a question about poetry? Was that you?
Yeah, well, just to know the difference between spoken word and poetry.
I had that down, so thanks for bringing that up. I did have it down, so yeah, we covered that. But I'm gonna go into artist development. So this is dealing with more so developing what y'all talked about from a poet to like a spoken word artist, you know, or artist period, or even just more of a established poet. So, you know, it's depending on what you want to do with your art, you know. So these are some of the things that help me and will help yourself, you know, as an artist, especially if you look at it as more than, if you look at a different stream of income. And one of the most important things for me is advertising, whether it's marketing through social media. Don't get hung up so much on social media either, because you have older people that are not even on social media, you know. Social media marketing, broadcasting. You know, I believe you just launched with Can TV, right?
Yeah, so I didn't mention that. I got a slew of different videos I've gathered up to now for years. I've got now I'm doing like actual TV episodes. I already submitted 3 episodes already to KLAX.
That's dope.
I'm working on, before I came, I was working on the 4th.
Yeah, you
Of all
got
the
it.
videos I got, so.
Yeah, so that's another avenue, and that's also could be another stream. You know what I'm saying? Because they have to
Yeah.
run advertising through commercials and stuff like that. You
Yeah,
know,
so before somebody say I'm biting them, you know how people always try to brush, you know, the court, come here, make sure you tell him, be careful coming to the poetry ring. There's gonna be a lot of
okay,
crazy competition stuff.
yeah.
So I'm learning now how to get episodes. I know the comedy people are doing it already. It's fine, that's their genre. I want to learn how to put poetry on Tubi. That's what I'm learning right now.
Yes, go
That's why
go for it.
I'm saving my money to get it. I'm investing in quality camera. You say that again. I'm saving my money up. Spend my money to get a quality camera, so I can specifically, when I go to these events, I'm doing productions.
Yeah,
I'm not there just to be doing, like we talking about today. That's not just you doing stuff, just you doing stuff. You say you didn't want to be doing stuff, you're doing stuff.
right.
Let's be intentional what we're trying to do whenever we go anywhere.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. he mentioned he has a podcast,
Yeah.
and so what you say, Tubi or?
Well, that's the next. I'm on Cat TV now. I'm already set. Episodes are going, and I think me doing this is good. I've been submitting stuff to Cat TV for years, just recording church events.
Okay.
So I'm already in the goal of how to, edit. I've been editing for years. So all these years of me editing and video, all this stuff, let me go ahead and just put it out there and put all my ducks in order on the table. All the things I'm doing, just do it. Especially infusing it with what I've been doing as far as video editing into something I'm doing also, which is poetry. Go ahead and next them both together and just see what happens.
That's what's up.
I love that, and what that does, it makes it grow worldwide. Versus somebody just
Yeah.
going around to a set of some within your radius. But it's a whole world out there.
And they can access it at any time,
Exactly.
anytime,
You never know who's going to see your stuff.
right?
Who's going to send you an email
Yeah.
or whatever. People ask me what keeps me going, and it's actually not knowing. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
what can happen or where my gift can go or what type of email is going to get sent to me. Or my next dream, when it's going to come true. I live for that. I live every day for that. That's why I told Elena, hey, get in contact with me. Best way is through email.
Okay.
When I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing I'm checking. I'm not checking my phone
Yeah.
by the same people, a creditor, this or that, family. You know what I'm gonna get back to that later. You know what I'm saying? That's secondary.
Well.
Like she has my phone right now. You know what I'm saying? That's just so I can, help teach, construct the class or whatever. But, my emails. I looked at that. I'm like, man, where's my gift making room for me at? When I get booked or something. It's through my emails. Like I was booked at Wintrust Arena, to perform at halftime.
Yeah.
I saw that, yeah.
And that was so God. I can share this too because we're amongst one another, but because people will call me and they be like, man, I want to be on Wintrust. Some of them I ain't answered back. I want to do that. And I was like, you know what, well, send me a $35 fee for a consultation. They ain't sent it yet.
Yeah.
So now you don't want to be at no Wintrust Arena. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get there. It's not that I'm just gonna give you connection or but I can see where you at. That's why I asked everybody to discover where you want to go with this. You know what I'm saying? So if he said something else, I probably wouldn't. Oh well, I ain't gonna waste your money, dog. Here your $35 back. I wouldn't even take your money, man. You
Folks
got
spend 2 over mics, they want to go straight to Wintrust.
right. Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Wow.
So with Wintrust, right? I talked about my first time I ended up performing was for a poetry slam on the north side. This is one of my first times. I haven't been featured yet by this time for a poetry slam, so I didn't place. But years later, I saw that they were doing it, and okay. Then I had another letter because they would send me stuff to send donations. And went to my mom's house. And I said, Mom, what meal did I have over there? So you got something for Totally Positive Production? That's why I did the theater thing at. And I was like, they probably just want a donation. You know what I'm saying? You could just, throw that mail away and this and that. I got to the house, it was about 2 weeks later, man. She put it up on the ledge. She did not throw it away. I opened it up, and it was for another competition that they was having. And it was about love. I said, I have a piece about love. She said, yeah, you do that one. It's no love there or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'll do that one.
It's a good mom.
And I asked her, I said, why you didn't throw that away? Like,
Right.
she's like, no, Michael, I don't know. I just put it up on leg. I ain't thought that was nothing I was supposed to throw it away for you.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
After I told her that they be just trying to get donations and stuff, like I didn't think nothing of it. So anyway, signing up. You have to go through audition. You know what I'm saying? So I made the audition, I made the cut. And it's like a poetry and talent competition. And I went and I placed first with It's No Love There. I did that piece and I placed first.
I love
I
that.
placed first with that piece. Like I drew the highest score with that. And the next year, the following year, the organization was awarding all the winners to do their poetry at Wintrust Arena.
Wow. Look at that. So you don't know where things are gonna lead.
You don't know, it's different steps. Like first it had to be God because my mom had to save the letter for me. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Then I had to audition. Then I had to go to the audition. I had to win. Not knowing if I was going to, win the money or whether I just had to do it. I could have been in fear like that. They ain't picked me before. You know what I'm saying? They this or that. I'm like, no, I went.
You went.
You know what I'm saying? And I'll end up placing first. I didn't know what was going to come after that. And all of a sudden, this is the thing with the email. This what made me, I got a phone call, right? Hey, you didn't get my email? I need a confirmation for Wintrust Arena. I'm like, what? I'm like, I didn't see no email for that. And check your spam. I checked my spam. They ain't going in my spam. So now, not only do I check my emails, I check my spams.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how that ended up coming about. It was like through step by step, and also by confidence, not giving up, like following the gift because I love it, because this is something that I love to do. So it was whether I would have not placed first, second, or third, or I would even lost the competition. It was something that I wanted to do, regardless of that, because I love it. I love performing. I love getting better. I don't mind practicing. He mentioned about somebody critiquing your art. And through the audition, I ain't gonna lie, most artists, spoken art artists, will walk up out of there. Because dude is like hard on, I even had some run-ins with him. I said, hey man, like, he tried to tell me how to, perform my piece a certain way, this or that. And I was like, well, when I get on stage, I'm gonna do all type of stuff that I'm not gonna do right here in the rehearsal or practice or whatever. It's like, no, but I want you to do it here. I'm like, okay. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't. When I'm on stage, it doesn't come out the same as amongst trying to rehearse in front of one or two people or something like it. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I'm just not like that. But
Can I ask a stupid question?
there's no stupid question. Go ahead.
Yeah, go.
Do you think that is like the anointing of God when you're in performance before people? Like if you've ministered before and when the Holy Spirit comes upon you and you're ministering real hard, there is that, it's a feeling over your body. I really can't describe what it is, but it's an adrenaline rush, but it's with God. You know what I'm saying?
It's a part of it, and also with me, like I kind of put myself back into that piece, into those moments. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can kind of get that anger back while I'm performing it. I can kind of feel that. I mean,
Feeling
I like to
that.
speak because this person done cursed me out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going back to that. So it's kind of and I'm feeling that. Like I've gotten over it because I wrote it, but while I'm on the stage, like I'm taking myself.
So that kind of ties into like acting.
Yeah,
Because you
yeah,
want to be an actor.
yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
Well, to answer your question, I'm gonna answer your question from my stance.
Yeah.
My recordings, I can listen to my recordings on album, back to back on repeat. My video, I can watch that over and over again. Live stuff, when people see me their live stuff, I got you live, I don't watch any of it.
Why?
It's weird. I don't watch none of my live at all. People see all stuff, I don't comment, I don't look at them. I got stuff that really, one of the biggest things I was doing spoken word was, like I was wrong.
Yeah.
It was very big, you know what I'm saying? That day was crazy because the God of the anointing came on me like really heavy.
Yes.
And it was on stage. It was like, I had a literal hangover the next day. Like I had headaches and everything. I was so high. And it was so heavy I had to call my guy EQ. I was like, what's going on, someone? It was right before I had to go. I prayed. I said, I was in the gym and I was like, God, I can't just go on stage and do 2 pieces. I need to do something more. And as soon as I said that, I was in the gym, and it was like he showed me it was his muscle man. He was like, he was the biggest person in the gym. He was like, he was like this.
One of them.
It was laughing, but you can't really laugh at him. He's the biggest person. He's the most strongest, muscular person in the gym, and he was in it like for real. It was like, that's how I need you to worship me.
That's in that phone.
With that passion.
Yes.
With that passion. So I took that. So instead of doing 2 pieces, I went up there. I said, well, I'm gonna worship. I'm gonna do a worship. I did a time tribute medley first. I told black guys I'm not doing 2. I'm gonna sacrifice the first one for more worship. Then go right into my next one. And it was like the most people was like really still raving about it. But I was so high like the next day it was like an actual hangover. It was so much on me. It was like real heavy. And I don't watch it. I don't watch the video.
But that's the anointing that God put in.
I can't because I can't watch it and be
Right.
like, well, I'm gonna do it this.
Yeah.
You don't want
I don't
to
know.
repeat it.
Right.
I'm not repeating. I'm just going with
You can't
Be able to
repeat.
flow.
You can't.
Yeah, you
You
can.
can't repeat.
You
It's
know.
organic.
the studio is orchestrated. I'm like, I gotta do that over. I'll
Right.
punch in here.
Yep.
Right.
Edit. I can edit what I want, how I want to see it. That's why it's like it's perfect. On stage, I don't even like where you watch myself anyway, but I don't know. I just don't watch it. It's
Well,
different.
it's excellent, and like I said, when I heard you, you may do a piece, and I heard Mike, and it's never the same way.
Yeah, you
It's
can't
a
say
different, I guess it's the mold, how many people are in the room, the setting, the atmosphere, whatever it is. It's different, but it's still powerful, but some may be a little powerful more than others, and I'm thinking, well, maybe that's the power of God, that's why I feel it here, or I feel it in my stomach. Why am I yearning to hear them speak, and it's spiritual to me.
But then too, you go through certain poems that I have, even Madison have, and some other poets. There's a
Yes.
crushing. You know what I'm saying? There's a what's the it's a worship song about broken. You know about gracefully broken.
Tasha
You know, yeah. So some of my poems are gracefully broken. You know, like I've gone through different trials and tribulations and tests and pain and you know what I'm saying, and it's all coming out in my poetry. And
I heard
I'm being
about that
real.
song.
Yeah, I'm being real with it. Like I'm not holding anything back. You know what I'm saying? This is me releasing myself. Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm being healed through my writing, through my poetry. That's part of that therapy that we talked about. Like I'm being healed through a piece. Maybe I'll do reality before we go, but I'm being healed through that.
So after
know.
you do it, how do you feel? Is it because you're up intense at first, is there a release that comes after you've done your poem? Or
In a
do you
way.
feel more relaxed as opposed than before you're speaking it? Is it that way, or am I just talking crazy right now?
Not so much. No, not so much of that. It's more so after my poem. Now writing, yes.
Okay,
Writing,
Uh-huh.
yeah. When I first write my poems and finish them, yes.
okay.
You know, as far as performance, it's more like I want the people to feel it. I want them to get that.
Okay.
I want to take them through that. I want somebody to feel what I said and what I talked about. You know, so I love feedback that
Yes.
people give me and stuff like that. But yes, I'm gonna get through this on development. It's cool. That was good stuff though. That was good. So artist development, networking, which we have been doing already. A lot of people come out to open mics. I talked about this earlier. They'll spit the piece and all of a sudden they just shoot out the door like they got another event. You know, and it's repeated. You know what I'm saying? It's all the time. Like you don't hear another artist. You don't know Christopher's poem book. You never heard this man because you left out. You know, but we sat there and listened to what you said or whatever. You probably don't talk about nothing.
And we have
You know.
seen many stars, actresses, entrepreneurs, poets, and all.
Wow.
Say, for instance, like Harold Dennis, Shantae Renee Smith, Melanie Hogan, Christy Tate, Barbara Foster, Rachel J. White, and so many others that goes from hand to hand. You have to see many cultures of what God has done in all of them. Not just in many, but so many others that came through. And for instance, what I be doing when I'm recording and all that, they say, what do I always be doing when I be recording? When I be recording, I recording a whole lot. And what people, or what they say and do in front of the camera or from behind that camera. And what do I see? I see truth.
Yes.
Wow.
I see real truth. Truth that happens everywhere. Not just from the open mic events or in the movies or what you see when they be doing venturings and networking. They do this because it's the work of art. The art of what poetry, the art of entrepreneuring, and the art of true movies that came together. That's how it all came about. That's it.
You gonna have to do something with your videos, like as far as like talking and then going into that, man. That's
not.
yeah. To go
that
into
would
that,
be really good.
yeah, and like really launch that, like man.
Yeah.
Like
That's
a
real stuff.
narrator.
Yeah. I appreciate that,
You have
man.
a
I appreciate
very
that.
awesome your voice.
Yes, it does. And he can sing.
God.
I appreciate that, Tyrone.
Whoa.
I'm almost through. I'm finna get through the time. So definitely networking is big.
Very big.
Your growth, getting more events, paid events and stuff like that. Having a business card, a flyer, something like that, a product. Building a team. Lane was talking about earlier. You need an assistant. Like, yeah, well, you helping me now. Like, so building a team somewhere, because I've been out here where I've had workloads on me. I'm doing one thing, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I'm not going where I should be going, or getting to where I need to get, because I'm passionate about a lot of things. I wear a lot of hats, just like you, like I wear a lot of different things. Sometimes I don't know where I should
Right.
be, and I have to talk to God about them. Like, why you give me so many things? Why are you doing this? Why are you
Required.
so
I've had that talk, yes.
yeah, so it's that's important too, like having a balance, like knowing what you should be doing at this time. And back to the education, I went to school so I could have a balance, so I could have one thing to focus on and finish and complete. So I won't be all over the place. I know if I got an assignment, I can't do this. I can't build it. I got to focus on this one thing. So now, when I graduated, I just sat still. I was like, peace, I ain't finna jump all over the place. Peace, be still. Where do you want me to go? What you want me to do next?
Yeah.
You gonna get your bachelor's? No, I ain't trying to hear that right now. I just hollered, just trying to get an associate degree, like living in my house, hollering because it was so much on me. You know what I'm saying? Tests, papers, exams,
Yes.
Yep.
projects. You know what I'm saying? Everything at once in 2 weeks to get done.
Yeah.
And literally I was gonna slack off and like, well, at least I'll pass. She was like, nah, that's not you. You might not pass. You know what I'm saying? But I literally hollered out like, because it was a lot. And I was like, once it happened, once I graduated, earned my degree, I was like, I could do anything. Matter of fact, understood what the scripture meant. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes.
I didn't know
That's
what that
right,
meant before.
everyone.
But once I did that and accomplished that, that's when I can do it now. I know I can do this. You know what I'm saying? Spoken word, no, I can knock that out. I can become, I can do this. Building a team, practice. Whatever it is, whatever your art form is, practice it, work on it. Even if you haven't memorized 100%, still practice and work on it, before a show or something like that. this is important too, your character. You know, to work on your character as an artist. You know, sometimes people don't want to work with you because of your character. You got a bad attitude, or, you know, so you're not teachable. You know it all. Or you get done with a piece and drop the microphone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, those things matter. You know what I'm saying, as an artist. You know,
That's why I'm
yeah, I've
asking.
seen it. Yeah, I've seen that done before. Even on during the pandemic, I ain't gonna say no names, but it was on it was from New York. You know how they kind of, you know, they're.
Wow.
Anyway, they did a piece and just jumped off the ladder. And I'm like, wow. You know what I'm saying?
Artists.
Just did a
I always
piece.
thought it was a joke.
Oh
but
my
I didn't
God.
actually do that.
Yeah, they do. They call themselves dropping the mic or something like. Marcos, man, I think I'm following you. I don't know.
That's crazy.
But they ain't nobody else do what they had. They just seen that he jumped off all their left. I'm like,
Crazy.
so your character, you know what I'm saying? You want to develop a good character. You know, as an artist, entrepreneur, you know, business person, or whatever. Like, ain't nobody gonna mess with you, your attitude, your character messed up. You know what I'm saying? Or this is something I'm throwing too, like leaving the outside world outside. You know what I'm saying? Me doing this right here, this is therapeutic for me. Like anything on the outside world, y'all would know I'm not even thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? That's outside the door.
That's
I'm gonna
right.
do that when I get to it. So don't let that get in the way of what you're doing, of your accomplishment, your dream, or you know, way of your business. Not letting that affect you. Also, health. This is something I'm getting better with. Is health. You know, physical health. We want to be around more to fulfill our dreams. You know, do our purposes. Also, something that Black Ice told me, like the treadmill, because it helps with your breathing. Like when
Yeah,
you're
that's
performing and
right.
stuff like that.
I
You know,
need to
so
get back on
sometimes
that.
on the treadmill, I recite my pieces while I'm, you know, walking on the treadmill and listen to. Sometimes I stop listening, talking earlier, like, nah, just play regular music with no words. You know what I'm saying? Because it might be a poem or a song that wants to come birth up out of you. You see what I'm saying? I get inspiration from other artists as well too, but you know, to really want to be authentic and original, creative, nah, I don't hear no noise outside. You know what I'm saying? Maybe get some tunes, an instrumental or something, hip hop instrumental, special instrumental, whatever, and it helps with your thoughts and stuff like that. Your health, physical health, mental health, as well as your spiritual health as well too. You want to have a balance. You know, knowing what poem to perform, when and where. I had to actually learn that. You know, and then too, like I don't switch up. You know what I'm saying, according to what somebody else is doing or something like that. You know, but I will feed the audience. I look at it. Even certain churches, I wouldn't do. Depending on what it could be. If anybody knows about apostolic or true holy or Baptist, all of them are kind of different. You know, as far as what they're receiving.
Yeah.
So I would do reality. I started doing reality in one church, and they were looking at me sideways when I was done with it. You know, but the one church, they loved the reality. They were like, man, do that again. You know, so there's one piece every church connects with it because it's inspirational. It's Imagine Vision Dream, so it's uplifting people. So now, okay, well, I'm not going to do reality when I go to church. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do that open mics when I'm featured, this and that. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to leave the audience with something. I want to leave them uplifted. Everybody not, because when I ain't gonna lie, with my poetry, I have conscious and hip hop within my poetry. And some people, you know what I'm saying, they can't connect with that a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? But something inspirational or something, a prayer, they're gonna connect, okay. So when I go to church, I'm doing this prayer and I'm doing this inspiration with people. The rest of them, they have to see me at my show. You know what I'm saying? They can hear that or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's just something I had to learn, you know. Okay, this is the last things that has helped me is my confidence, consistency, my faith, of course, and being original, being authentic, you know, with yourself, being comfortable with who you are, not comparing yourself to another artist or another poet, or afraid to come behind
Or
anybody
entrepreneur and
like
all.
that. You know, just be you.
Yeah.
You know,
And
don't
only
feel
you.
intimidated or anything. Just whatever you do it the best way that you know how to do it and perform it and have it perfected. Because, you know, everyone has an audience. Even if you look at music industry, you look look at, I'm gonna use hip hop predominantly. That's one of the predominantly genres. You have somebody like KRS-One has his fan. You have somebody like Jay-Z. They're two different fan bases. You know what I'm saying? So everybody has their specific fan base that they're gonna reach. You talked about reaching women or something like that. Like, I'm not gonna reach all the women with the stuff that I have. You know? But you can. You know what I'm saying? But how you look, if I get up here and perform a piece and I can't go behind just Mike, but it's women in the room. You see what I'm saying? That you can reach with what you have. You know, something I might say might go over their head. Or I might scare them. Because of one of my lyrics, I don't know, Mike the Killer. You know, like, you never know. But that's a little bit part of the artist development that I talked about. I talked about just developing your character, practicing the health, mental, physical, and spiritual, and just having a balance, as an artist, and blocking out the outside world, because the outside world can't get in and affect your art.
That's
it
correct.
It can stop you, can become stagnant with it, and I think that has happened with a lot of artists, and, I don't knock anybody, you know what I'm saying, I believe that, I have had some faith in my life, where God has blessed me to be able to just create, with my hands and just cut hair, and do stuff like that, or create with my mind, you know what I'm saying, your mind is a powerful thing, and, I'm not afraid, I done been in a mental institution. You know what I'm saying? Like, the enemy literally tried to take my mind away from me because he knows how powerful my mind can be. He knows that. I didn't know that, but he knew it. He knew, like, the things, I'm saying, I'm capable of doing and creating and bringing to the world. And also helping other people, to grow and battle through the things that they're going through, to help them. So now I'm going to be dealing with a lot of stuff with mental health, advocacy, because I'm not ashamed of that. I understand how I got like that, what led to it. I understand what got me out of it. I understand the things that have healed me. So I don't mind. And the one thing that helped me, is writing. It's my pen. I thank God for my pen. I thank God for giving me the gift of poetry. Other than that, I don't know where I would. I don't want to think about it. Where I would be. So
Does everybody suffer from a form of mental illness in some type of way? If depression or grief or
of course,
whatever,
definitely.
that's
Yeah.
a mental illness.
A lot of people don't talk about it.
Undiagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say maybe undiagnosed.
A lot of
Undiagnosed.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of people don't
Don't
even
even
talk about it. They don't even mess with it.
No, but I am
Yeah.
happy to see that we are now.
Yes.
Being
It's
that people are actually starting to talk about it, and that's important.
Yeah, so I'm covering a lot. I wrote a lot. I didn't realize I wrote this much stuff down. But I'm just gonna say some things I was gonna talk about was like venue. That's something different though. Once you get into venue and hosting, I will talk about the ways you can make. What are some of the ways that you can make an income as an artist?
Well, for me, so with the books right here, of course, with royalties, everybody looks for royalties. Everybody think like, oh, he clicked on the link, they purchased in the book. Well, one of the ways you could do, and it helped me a lot, was that even though you were in stores, when you go to your events, and it's like, and that's why I spoke to them before earlier about the difference between an independent book publisher and just signing your rights and everything, your work to a larger company. Like when you sign to a larger company, sometimes you pay the fee for them to do what they do, and then they'll give you like 15 or 20 books up to this of your work for free, and then like you got to pay them back later. When you're an independent book publisher, everything is right then and there at your access at any given time of day. So, but like for this right here, you might pay $1.98 or like $2 and some change to get the book, but then you will sell it once you get on the streets or hand to hand. You can sell it for a lot more, a higher price than what you paid for just to pull the book out. And it helped a lot. This helps a lot. So you don't think this is $2 to make, $2 to make, but you could go to an event and sell them at $10 a book, $10 a book, or however it is you choose to do. have business cards as well.
That's dope.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's something that should leave me with one. Most definitely. So that's for merchandise.
I only got one. Damn, I was so sorry. I only got one.
Just write your number down.
Alright.
Merchandise. Merchandise. Bookings. That helps with a stream to get booked.
Yeah, one thing, with this, especially this right here, you guys heard of BMI ASCAP?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask that.
Yeah, so, I mean, events like this, your work, once you register your work with that company, you could, put this down as an address of the performance and they'll pay you for it. And even when you're going back with streaming, you can go on Facebook Live, do your work, and then, they pay you for, through that as well.
And which one is that page?
Both of them.
Both of them? Okay.
Yeah, both of them, like with BMI, and but that's the thing, like with royalty, with publishing, it's once every 3 months. But it's like if you're consistent with it and you don't got no motivation, it's money that it's there, especially from, yeah. And even as far as streaming, like if you notice from back in the day to now, like they would affect like the internet or Facebook in general would affect your live if you have somebody else's music. So it's like a lot of casual, they be like, yo, I do not own this music or this is my music. So that's important to let them know because if not, I think they'll shut down your live or they'll mute it.
Yep.
You know? So because it's like people getting paid for that.
Yeah. No, that's real talk.
Yeah.
Definitely gonna try to make your workshop.
Hey, it'll definitely be an honor if you guys can show up.
That's great stuff.
And you know, even as far as I'm interviewing on the podcast, I would love to have you all.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know. Let me know when.
Oh, yeah. Is it alright if you guys could take pictures of me signing the book?
Oh yeah.